Inflation is high and markets are down, and many people are consumed with financial worry, stress, and anxiety. In this video, I will explain why I am optimistic about the future. Welcome to the Financial Fast Lane. My name is Lane Martinson, and in this video, I hope to bring some perspective to our current circumstances, and I will give you 5 specific recommendations that may be helpful to you. Now, when we remember and learn from the past, we can better navigate our current challenges. We should be, I believe, optimistic, not because our problems are smaller than we thought, but because our capacity to solve them is larger than we thought. First, let's talk about our current bear market. There will always be dark days in the market, ups and downs, and we tend to have a very short memory. We are coming off of a very long bull market, and we tend to forget that, forget what a bear market feels like. If we look at my chart, if we go back to the year 2000, I remember this time frame very well. It's when the NASDAQ bubble burst, and we had all these dot-coms that started going out of business, and the stock market came down, down, down. And then, to make things much worse, we had the September terror attacks, and all the planes were grounded, and I remember that time very well. I actually had a business trip, and I had a flight scheduled. It was one of the few flights that didn't get canceled, and it was one of the first flights back up in the air. It was like on day 4, I think, after the planes were all grounded. But it was a very if you remember that time frame, what that felt like, there's a lot of concern. There's a lot of uncertainty of the future. And the stock market didn't like it at all, right? It was down, down, down. It lost half of its value over a 2.5-year period of time. That was a tough 2.5 years. But of course, there has never been a bear market that was not followed by a bull market. And that's always been the case. And of course, in 2008, we had the mortgage crisis, and we lost another 56%. And it was a very difficult time and circumstance for many people. But again, followed by a bullish market, very, very long, strong bull market. Now, if you take a look at this chart, this goes back more than 121 years. And we can see that the market has always been cyclical in nature. We have these periods of time where the market is bullish, and we have periods where it's bearish. And it's the nature of the market. But the trend has always been up, right? So as we go through these cycles, and specifically since 2000 and 2008, we look at some of the things that have happened since then. For example, Airbnb was founded in 2008. They became a multi-billion-dollar company. Likewise, Uber was founded in 2009, and now a multi-billion-dollar company. Zoom has become a multi-billion-dollar company. Tesla has become a trillion-dollar company. And there's many other very profitable companies that have done well and will continue to do well in the future. So when you invest in a stock or in the stock market, you become an owner of a business, right? You have a fractional share of a large profitable business, these companies. And so when you keep that in mind, these companies are planning to be around in the long term, and they're also planning to be profitable. And so you have to ride the ups and downs. And if you're a long-term investor, then it has always turned out well for those with that mindset. Panic selling, on the other hand, never works out. It's a marathon, not a sprint. The tortoise and the hare, right? The tortoise is the one that wins the race. Now, I know that we have very real problems and challenges that we face in our world, individually as well as collectively. And I'm certainly not suggesting that we ignore our problems, not at all. I am suggesting that we roll up our sleeves And we face our problems head on with the optimism and the faith that we can endure and we can overcome. And so I'm going to give you 5 specific things that I think can help to decrease your stress and to increase your peace of mind. First, reduce your news intake. It's important to be informed, but you don't want to live on a steady diet of political news. It's not a formula for a happy and fulfilling life. You want to control how much negativity you allowed into your mind, right? You're familiar with the saying, you are what you eat? Well, if negativity and anger is part of your daily routine, I would say change your routine, okay? Recommendation number 2 is to maintain an attitude of gratitude. So regardless of your circumstances, we can always count our blessings. We can always find things to be grateful for. Let me tell you a story that you may have heard before. So this was during the Holocaust. Carrie ten Boom and her sister Betsy were in a German concentration camp, a horrific, flea-ridden, death-dealing place. To give some comfort, Betsy quoted a Bible passage to her sister that they should remember to give thanks in all circumstances, even in those horrific, incomprehensible circumstances. Betsy reminded her that she could give thanks that the 2 of them were together, as most families had been split apart. And Carrie said she could give thanks for that, but not for the fleas. But eventually, Carrie learned that the only reason she and her sister had not been assaulted by the guards was because their captors were so repulsed by the fleas that they would not enter the girls' barracks. And so Carrie did, in fact, become grateful for the fleas. So I would suggest you keep a gratitude journal. My wife is actually really good at doing this. And every day, identify things that you're grateful for. It's easy to point out the negative. Negativity is all around us. It's very, very easy to be critical, but it takes much more effort to identify the good and to emphasize the good and to be optimistic. Number 3 is to spend more time outside every day. Try to get some exercise, enjoy nature. It has a very calming influence and will be a blessing to you. Number 4 is to be a friend. Take your mind off of your worries and help someone else with theirs. Service to others is one of the keys to happiness. It really is. Number 5 is to be prayerful. For me and millions of people around the world, prayer is an incredible source of clarity and comfort. Let me conclude with a somewhat humorous quote. A positive attitude may not solve your problems, but it will annoy enough people to make it worth the effort. I thought that was funny. But hey, I hope that you find some strength and benefit from this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Financial Fast Lane.